So they give you this night sky. If you remember, this is like one of the very first labs we did. We put the moon on the background. This background didn't have stars. So I actually use the same image that we're going to create here in that very first lab where we copied the moon over. It was like one of the second or third labs we did. So here's the sky. It's black. What we're going to do is we're going to, if you look at the lab at the very end, we're going to make it look like that. So we'll make it look like stars. Okay, couple different ways to do this. I'm going to probably do it a little out of order from the actual lab itself. So if you've already done it, it's fine. I'm just going to walk you through the steps. So for the focus notes, the essential question is what are the steps to make a starry night sky or starry sky? And then the questions are really, you're just going to like label it step one, step two, step three, step four, and then the notes on the side are what you're going to write, basically what you did for step one, what you did for step two, so on and so forth. So the essential question is, what are the steps to create a starry sky? Okay, so step one is you're going to create a layer on top of the background. Let me see if I can hide this. A new layer, a blank layer on top of the background. So step one would be create a new layer. And then you're going to fill it with black. Edit, fill, black. Okay. So step two could be fill layer with black. All right, and then you're going to, I don't know if these, step one was create a new layer. Step two is fill that layer with black. Then you're going to go, I don't know if these colors matter. Let me see. Filter. I'm going to do this real quick and we'll undo it. Noise. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. So then what you're going to do is add the starry noise basically on the background. So step three would be, and you can just write this down, go to filter, noise, you draw like a little arrow, noise, and then you want to do add noise. So filter, noise, add noise. And then you're going to want to make sure it is Gaussian. Make sure monochromatic is checked, so it's just black and white. And then you want to do an amount, I think they said like around 13. Let's double check. All right. Oh, they said 120. That's a lot. So 120-ish. It doesn't have to be exact. Step one was create a new layer. Step two is fill layer with black. Step three is go to filter, noise, add noise. And then you want to set that to 120%. I'll show you it on the window. I'll have this here too if you missed a step, so just leave a blank and you can come and check it in later. Then you go to filter, noise, add noise, and you want 120% Gaussian, Gaussian, and then monochromatic. So what that will give you is a kind of looks like an old static field, right? In on the old TV sets, which will probably never. So that's our stars. The next thing we're going to do is blur it. So this would be step 4. Go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, and then there's different types of blurs. The one we're going to use is Gaussian blur. And that's basically Gaussian is basically the algorithm it uses to calculate. You don't really need to do that. And then you're going to do a 0.3, I think is what it says. Yeah, 0.3 pixels. So just mark that as well in your step, 0.3 pixels. Okay. And then check OK. So now it kind of blurs it out because stars are not perfect pixels, right? So they kind of blur as you see it. There are way too many stars, and they're obviously covering up the background. We'll fix that in the next steps. So the next thing you want to do is select out the sky of the photo. You can hide this layer 1. So step 5 would be select sky, basically wherever you want the stars to show through. So you can select it however you want. In this case, it actually doesn't matter. You can be kind of sloppy with the selection. I'm just going to use Polygon Lasso. You can use whatever selection tools you want. Like I said, once we learned all the selection tools, you use which one you think is the best. You could use quick selection here. You could use whatever. So select it somehow. Again, it doesn't actually have to be super perfect for this one, which is surprising because usually you want a pretty good selection, but in this case, it doesn't matter. So select out the sky, step 5. Step 6 is you're going to add the mask. I guess you'd say step 6, add layer mask to star layer. Okay, I currently have it hidden, right, so I can see behind there. I'll just re-show it. And then you want to add layer mask down here. Okay, so now we have just the stars showing through. They're obviously really bad right now, but we'll fix that. Okay, and then what you want to do is, did they already do the layer? No, they didn't. Yeah, okay, so then you're going to do a layer adjustment. So having this layer selected, so step number 7 would be add levels or level adjustment, add level adjustment layer, which is this one up here. It kind of looks like a forest. I don't know. And then what you want to do is, if you'll notice, as I drag this left and right, it reduces the number of stars. This makes them a little brighter. So just kind of find a good amount of stars. Now it's affecting this layer here, but we'll fix that in a second. Just kind of find the amount of stars you want to add. So that looks pretty good. Now what you want to do for step 8 is right-click on levels layer and say create clipping mask. So right-click, click levels layer, and then create clipping mask. Create clipping mask, yes. Clipping mask. Okay. So what that will do is just affect this layer, this levels layer will now just affect the layer under it, which is the star layer. Next, you want to change the blend mode of the star layer to, this would be step 9, yeah. To screen, I believe. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, screen. So 9 would be set star layer blend mode to screen. Now, if you have too many stars here, this isn't a step. This is just, we're pretty much done steps. If you want to re-click on the levels layer, you can actually readjust it. So you can get more or less stars depending on what you want. Okay. I think it's screen. Let me make sure that's actually screen. Nice of you to join us. All right. What else they did? They did a hue saturation. You could do that if you wanted to. It's pretty good though. So there you go. That's your start. That's basically the steps on how to do that. For the summary, what you can do is use the steps that you did and just write like a sentence or two what you did. Added stars with noise. Set the stars to blend mode. Adjusted the amount of stars and levels with a level adjustment. You can just kind of summarize that at the end. If you need the steps, I went ahead and wrote them down here if you want to look at the different steps. So that's for the stars. I think I skipped some steps or made it a little shorter, but you get the idea.